Would you dare to drive down a highway at 60 miles per hour while staring fixedly into the rearview mirror? Of course not. That would be an act of madness. Yet, paradoxically, that is exactly how so many of us navigate our lives. We fear what has not yet arrived. We fear the thick fog called tomorrow. So we choose the safer path. We turn our backs on the future, and we glue our eyes to the past. We live in the afterglow of old days. We sip on the pain of broken relationships. We move forward, but our gaze is cast backward. We think this is cherishing memories, but in truth, it is an escape. Tonight, let me tell you the story of Kael, the strangest man in the world. Kael never saw where he was going. He only saw where he had been. Kael believed that the past was the safest place until a lifeless rock taught him a lesson written in blood. If you do not look at the road will attack you. Kael lived in the kingdom of flowing rivers, where time never stood still. But Kael hated that flow. He was a man stuck in that one summer, the time when he had everything: love, fame, and youth. When summer passed and the storms of life arrived, Kael made a bizarre decision. He would never look forward again. He began to practice walking backwards. At first it was difficult. He stumbled, he wobbled, but gradually Kael became a master of walking in reverse. His leg muscles developed strangely to keep his balance. His neck stiffened from always craning behind him. Kael was proud of his philosophy. He told everyone, "Why should I look forward? Ahead lies fog, risk, and death waiting. But behind is a magnificent museum. I see clearly what I have achieved. I control what has happened. I am the only person in this world who is never surprised, because I only look at things that are already settled." And so, on the path winding through the valley of life, people saw a strange sight. A man striding backward, his eyes shining as he looked at clouds that had already dissolved, his lips smiling at flowers that had already withered. Kael's journey seemed romantic at first. Because he walked backwards, he always saw his childhood home fading but still within sight. He saw the silhouette of his old lover waving goodbye, even if it was only in his memory. He felt absolutely safe. Other travelers walking in the normal direction often warned him. A kind old lady said, "Young man, be careful. There is a puddle ahead." Kael scoffed, still walking backward. "You worry about yourself. I know exactly how dry the path I just walked was. My past is very clean." Splash! Kael stepped right into the puddle. Mud splattered all over his clothes. He was startled, but immediately he justified it. "Just a small accident. At least I know where this puddle came from. It is rain from yesterday's storm. I understand it." Kael continued. He believed that understanding the origin of an event was more important than avoiding it. He walked through fields of flowers. People gasped at the blooms about to open in front of them. As for Kael, he only admired the flowers his heels had already crushed. He said, "True beauty is beauty that has been conquered. The flowers ahead are a mirage. The flowers behind my heels are history." And so Kael lived in an inverted world. He never saw the sun rise, only the sun set. He never saw the storm approaching, only the clear sky where the storm had not yet reached. Kael lived in a cocoon of nostalgia, and he called it wisdom. But the road of life is not always flat. Kael began to enter the land called the Pass of Trials. The terrain became treacherous. Steep slopes, tangled roots, and jagged cliffs. Normal walkers began to slow down, feeling their way step by step, eyes glued to the obstacles ahead to find a foothold. but not Kael, because his eyes were on the back, where the path looked gentle and smooth. His brain tricked him into thinking the terrain was still safe. "Just keep going," Kael sang. "Life is so peaceful." He took a long step backward. His foot caught on an ancient tree root protruding from the ground. Kael lost his balance. He staggered, his hands flailing in the air. But because he couldn't see anything to grab onto, having turned his back on them, he fell backward. The fall was painful. His back slammed against sharp rocks. But Kael wasn't afraid. He stood up, dusted himself off, and said, "Another accident. But look, the sky behind is still so blue." A hunter passing by, seeing Kael walking backward toward the edge of a cliff, shouted in panic, "Stop! There's a cliff over there! Turn around now!" Kael heard the shout, but the arrogance of the keeper of the past made him ignore it. "A cliff? Don't try to scare me. I only see the familiar trail. I trust what I see, not what you rumors say." Kael took another step back. His heel touched the crumbling edge of the cliff. Just one more step, and he would fall into the deep abyss forever, taking all his precious memories into nothingness. But fate did not want Kael to die yet. Fate wanted him to wake up. Right at the edge of the cliff, a massive boulder lay blocking the way. It was the rock of reality. It was rough, thorny, cold, and unforgiving. It had lain there for 1,000 years, silent and unyielding. Kael, with blind confidence, put all his strength into a powerful backward step to prove his point. Crash! Kael's back slammed violently into the boulder. The impact was so strong that Kael heard his bones crack. Breath was squeezed out of his chest. Pain pierced through the sky and ran down his spine. He was thrown forward, toward the path he had come from, and fell face down on the ground. Blood trickled from his forehead. Kael lay there, paralyzed by pain. He moaned, "Why? Why is there an obstacle here? It wasn't in my memory. The road was flat yesterday, wasn't it?" Kael was furious. He wanted to turn around to curse the obstruction. He struggled to sit up, turning his head for the first time in years, and the sight before him froze his blood. In front of Kael, where he should have been looking had he walked normally, was the giant rock of reality. But what was more terrifying was this. Right behind that rock was the abyss of oblivion. A deep, bottomless, pitch-black chasm. If that rock hadn't been there to stop him, that powerful backward step would have sent him straight to hell. The rock he had just cursed, the rock that had broken his bones and made him bleed, was his savior. That bone-chilling pain was the final break that stopped him from suicide. Kael tremblingly touched the cold surface of the stone. His blood stained the rock. He realized a horrifying truth. The past is not the road. The past is a shadow. The real road always lies ahead, no matter how thorny or dangerous it may be. Kael slowly used the rock to pull himself up. This time he didn't turn his back. He stood facing the rock, facing the abyss, and looked beyond. Across the abyss, the sun was rising, a glorious, brilliant dawn, dyeing the snowy peaks in gold. Kael burst into tears. How many sunrises like this had he missed just because he was busy watching the sunset behind him? How many unnecessary wounds had he suffered just because he refused to look at what he was stepping on? He looked back to where he had just come from. The memories were still there, but they were far away. They were like paintings hanging in a museum, beautiful but static and lifeless. But ahead, even though there was an abyss, there was also the sky. And most importantly, there was a choice. He could choose to walk around the rock, choose to build a bridge, or choose to turn in a different direction. When walking backward, he had no choice. He only had passive acceptance. Kael wiped the blood from his forehead. He turned his body around completely. His neck joints cracked painfully as they rotated back to their natural position after so many years of twisting backward. But his eyes opened wide. He took his first step forward. He saw a small stone under his foot and avoided it. He saw a low branch and ducked his head. He didn't fall anymore. The traveler who walked backwards died at the edge of the cliff that day. Only Kael remained, the traveler of the present, limping toward the sun. My dear friend, did you see yourself in Kael's story? How many times have you hurt yourself just because you kept looking back? You crash into the same toxic relationships because you refuse to look at the reality of the present. You stumble in your career because you keep applying old experiences to a world that has changed. You drown in past pain and miss the brilliant opportunities waiting right in front of your face. We often curse the rocks of life. We curse failure, separation, and collapse. But my friend, sometimes those painful collisions are the universe stopping you before you fall into the abyss. That pain is an alarm clock. It screams, "Turn around, look at reality." The past is a beautiful place to visit, but a terrible place to stay. You cannot steer the ship of your life into the harbor of happiness if you keep staring at the wake behind the stern. Have the courage to turn around. Your neck might hurt, and your eyes might be blinded by the new light. But at least you will see the road. You will see the obstacles to avoid. And most importantly, you will see the sun. Stop walking backwards. Leave the past behind, where it belongs, and walk with your eyes wide open toward the future. Thank you for listening. Wishing you a peaceful night. And tomorrow when you wake up, may you walk the steady steps of someone who knows how to look toward the future.